So I was thinking about what to do for a video, and I decided I'd like to read a few paragraphs from one of my favorite books, Mark Twain, Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. I read this when I was a teenager. That was 30 years ago. It made quite an impression on me. I was a big science fiction fan, and this book was a good example of what I thought of as science fiction that was written before there was such a thing. There's a few others, but Mark Twain is about as famous and great a writer as ever did it. Yeah, he's not famous for nothing, but anyway, this is from the aptly named Chapter 42, my favorite chapter, in which Clarence is filling the boss in on a few changes that have taken place in his absence. It begins with Clarence reading a bit of what they call war correspondence, which goes like this.
Yes, the paper was booming right along, for the interdict made no impression, got no grip while the war lasted. I had war correspondence with both armies. I will finish that battle by reading you what one of the boys says. Then the king looked about him, and then was he ware of all his host, and of all his good knights, were left no more on live but 2 knights, and that was Sir Lucan du Butler and his brother Sir Bedivere, and they were full sore wounded. Jesu mercy, said the king, where are all my noble knights becomen? Alas, that ever I should see this doleful day. For now, said Arthur, I am come to mine end. But would to God that I wist there were that traitor Sir Mordred, that hath caused all this mischief. Then was King Arthur where Sir Mordred leaned upon his sword among a great heap of dead men. Now give me my spear, said Arthur unto Sir Lucan, for yonder I have espied the traitor, that all this woe hath wrought. Sir, let him be, said Sir Lucan, for he is unhappy. And if ye pass this unhappy day, ye shall be right well revenged upon him. Good Lord, remember ye of your night's dream, and what the spirit of Sir Gawain told you this night. Yet God of his great goodness hath preserved you hitherto. Therefore, for God's sake, my lord, leave off by this. For blessed be God, ye have won the field. For here we be 3 on live, and with Sir Mordred there is none on live. And if ye leave off now, this wicked day of destiny is past. Tide me death, betide me life, saith the king. Now I see him yonder alone. He shall never escape mine hands, for at better avail shall I never have him. God speed you well, said Sir Bedivere. Then the king gat his spear in both his hands, and ran toward Sir Mordred, crying, Traitor, now is thy death day come. And when Sir Mordred heard Sir Arthur, he ran until him with his sword drawn in his hand. And then King Arthur smote Sir Mordred under the shield, and with a foin of his spear throughout his body more than a fathom. And when Sir Mordred felt that he had his death's wound, he thrust himself, with the might that he had, up to the butt of King Arthur's spear. And right so he smote his father Arthur with his sword, holden in both his hands, on the side of the head, that the sword pierced the helmet and the brain pan, and therewithal Sir Mordred fell stark dead to the earth, and the noble Arthur fell in a swoon to the earth, and there he swooned oft times. Well, that is a good piece of war correspondence, Clarence. You're a first-rate newspaper man. Well, is the king all right? Did he get well?
Poor soul, no. He's dead.
I was utterly stunned. It had not seemed to me that any wound could be mortal to him.
And the queen, Clarence?
She is a nun in Almesbury.
What changes? In such a short while. It is inconceivable. What next, I wonder?
I can tell you what next.
Well?
Stake our lives and stand by them.
Well, what do you mean by that?
The church is master now. The interdict included you with Mordred. It is not to be removed while you remain alive. The clans are gathering. The church has gathered all the knights that are left alive, and as soon as you are discovered, we shall have business on our hands. Stuff. With our deadly scientific war material, with our hosts to train, save your breath, we haven't 60 faithful left. What are you saying? Our schools, our colleges, our vast workshops, when those nights come, those establishments will empty themselves and go over to the enemy. Did you think you had educated the superstition out of these people?
I certainly did think it.
Well, then, you may unthink it. They stood every strain easily until the interdict. Since then, they merely put on a bold outside. At heart, they are quaking. Make up your mind to it. When the armies come, the mask will fall.
And that's all I'm going to read of that. Yeah, I was quite the sci-fi addict back then. But even then, I realized, well, you can't read a whole lot of sci-fi without realizing that it's a bit of a closed community, sort of an echo chamber, if you will, of like-minded writers. Not all of them necessarily top-grade material. And every once in a while, some world-class writer will come in from outside and put out something that just blows the whole genre away while speaking in its own idiom. And this is a good example of that, even though the genre and the idiom didn't really exist yet. So that's my video for now, because I do sort of feel obligated to put one out of some sort now and again. So, good night to you all.